Hello, I'm Joshua.
And I'm Mary, and welcome to From the Heart.
Orlando is widely known for its tourist spots and attractions, but many people don't know about its thriving arts community.
We're happy to introduce to you talented artists and passionate leaders whose ideas are shaping our arts community. How do they create and why? And how will Orlando benefit from a growing arts presence?
On each episode, we'll meet guests who are influential leaders and artists who are truly making a difference.
From the Heart.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to From the Heart. I'm Joshua.
And I'm Mary.
And we're excited to bring to you all that's new and good when it comes to the arts in Central Florida.
Today, we're talking with Bob Kodges to learn about him and what led Bob to his work as the owner and founder of Flight of Ideas. Welcome, Bob.
Hey, welcome. So glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
Bob, tell us about Flight of Ideas.
Well, Flight of Ideas is a small think tank, basically. It's me and whatever clients I work with, some not-for-profit, some for-profit, and I help people to think together and to create things and to work better together and to connect better. And I've been doing this since 1999. I left a wonderful career as a hospital administrator to launch this, my own endeavor, and it's been beautiful.
I don't think I would ever hear that. You left the career as a hospital administrator to start a creative think tank business.
I was a marketing guy in healthcare, so I was on the creative side of healthcare. But I had done, by the time I was 35, I pretty much had done everything that I could think of that I wanted to do in healthcare, and decided to launch this endeavor with the amazing support of my wife, because if you're going to launch your own, you need the help of your family.
This is true. Right. So how do you get people to be creative?
First, they have to want to be. I mean, I believe it's a very teachable skill, and I think one of the basic core elements of it is to unleash them, to remove barriers, to get someone to be more creative. You don't have to add anything to them. You have to remove the judgment. You have to remove the things that cause them to hold back the amazing ideas that they have inside. And some of that takes a creating of an environment that inspires and encourages them to be able to let go of the things that they might otherwise hold in. And it's a habit. It's something you have to keep doing over and over again if you want to get good at it. But it's a skill that you can definitely develop.
Yeah, I had the privilege of sitting in a creative think tank with our company, and it was fantastic. But give our listeners just an example of what you would do with a group of individuals to spur their creativity.
I do a lot of different exercises to kind of loosen them up and get them in the right mind frame. I love an exercise called random questions, where everyone in the room starts out having to answer an odd question or an interesting question.
Sounds like this interview.
If you were forced to get a tattoo, what would it say and where would you put it on your body? If you knew that whatever you wrote would become an automatic bestseller, what would you write about? It gets people to step out of the mold of who they are in the business world and more into the mold of who they are as individual human beings. And individuality and the synergy that comes from people who aren't the same, that diversity is really powerful in the creative world. And I think sometimes just even putting people in an environment with people who are so different from them tends to unleash some of those creative atoms in a really nice way.
It must be very inspiring to see someone have one of those light bulb moments.
Oh, it's my favorite. Yeah. I love it. And they feel it. You can see it on their faces. You can see it in their body language that they've just hit something that they know is gold.
Is there one that sticks out in your mind for you?
Actually, I was working with a group called Vickery. It's the largest roller coaster manufacturer in the world. It was actually one of the clients that inspired me to leave the corporate world and start my own thing. And we had worked for 2 days to try to come up with the next wave of thrill rides, and it was a rough slog. We weren't really coming up with a lot of great ideas the first 2 days, and I wasn't sure whether or not I could actually do it. And on that third day, we deconstructed thrill rides, and what they did in the reconstruction was amazing. I mean, they were designing rides like the Gorgon, which is like the head of the Gorgon, Medusa, with the hair being the snakes, but the snakes are all rails of roller coasters that are moving and connecting in perfect time as the cars roll around.
That sounds
the frog and fly. Really, really fun, cool stuff came out of that one.
Great.
That's awesome. So do you feel like part of your job is to help companies, individuals create something that they want to be, what their future?
I do. I think first, one of the challenges I run into is people don't know what they want to be or where they want to go. And it's tough to help someone navigate that path if they have no idea where they're coming from or where they're going. So a lot of the groundwork comes from what do you want? Where do you want to go? What do you want to achieve? And once we get that, then there are a million paths that can get you there. My job is to help them to explore all the paths, not just the direct routes, but the kind of funky routes that will take them new places and offer some new experiences to their customers.
When someone isn't sure what they want, what do you ask them to help them come to realize that?
If they have the freedom to decide from their own personal perspective, I ask them, I usually start with what makes your heart beat faster? What gets you excited? We all have this feeling when we're inspired that we want to do something with it. And I'm trying to get them to that point of feeling something so that we can use that energy to build some momentum to help get them there. So I'll ask them, what turns you on? What are the things that you love? How do you like to spend your time? How do you want to spend your time in the future if they have the freedom? A lot of times it's within the corporate boundaries, so we're kind of riding on a rail. There's a limit to how far you can go in one direction or another, but I like to move that rail every once in a while just to shake things up a little bit.
Can everybody be creative? I mean, we may have listeners that are watching and just happen upon the show and they don't consider themselves a creative person, but can you teach creativity? Can you instill creativity? Is everyone creative?
Everyone is unique. We're not all equally creative. We're not all Picassos, we're not all Mozarts, but it's a learnable skill. If you want to be more creative, you can be more creative. And again, it's a matter of people first relaxing and putting the judgment aside so that they can allow what naturally comes out of them to come out. I do an exercise called Finish It. And it's taking a circle and a line and putting it on a piece of paper and sharing it with a room of 300 people. And then saying to them, your job is to finish it. When you see the range of creativity that comes out of that, it's amazing. I have 300 different interpretations of the same simple concept, and it empowers people to realize what I have to offer is unique. It's interesting to other people. They're amazed by the response and the reaction. And that's a nice way to kind of launch into, okay, now there's power in your perspective, share it, and watch how it affects the world.
Bob, the mission of our show here, the reason why we're here, is we want our viewers to consider taking in the arts in a way maybe they never have. If they've never seen a ballet, or if they've never gone to a choir concert or a play, or how can maybe going out to participate in the arts inspire people to be more creative, or being creative inspire them to want to go see the arts?
That's an interesting question. I feel like going to the arts is a naturally inspirational experience. You're watching other people who've honed their craft and learned how to do something for your entertainment, and it's hard not to be moved by that on a very core level. I think for me personally, if I'm trying to inspire myself, I go out to see a show. I'll go out and watch artists paint or draw. I love to see the creation process, and I know that turns me on as an artist. Artists inspire other artists. But I think for the population in general, if you're open to it, going out and experiencing the arts opens pores that you wouldn't otherwise have opened.
Or know that you have.
Exactly. It's discovery. It's a beautiful moment when someone goes out and realizes that they love something they didn't even know what it was, and so I love to put myself in that environment. I also like to put my clients in that environment as well to help them think beyond the little box that they typically
And because
think
we
within.
tend to do things that we tend to do, and it's when we go outside of that. Every now and then Jason will say, watch this, and I'll go, I don't usually like that kind of, and then I'll watch it, and I will love it because he knows me well, and then I'm thinking differently, I'm feeling differently, and then he likes me more. No, I'm just kidding. But isn't that it? Sometimes doing something outside of your norm.
It's all input, processing, and output. Okay, so the more you take in, the better you have a chance to create something amazing with it. And the processing, that's the creativity. But the more stuff we take in, I think that increases our probability of coming up with something new and unique.
Wow, what a good answer.
Absolutely.
Bob, it's been a pleasure being with you talking like this. Thank you so much.
It's been a joy to be
Absolutely.
here. Thanks.
We're going to be back to hear more about the creative process of Bob Kodges and Flight of Ideas. Joshua and I are counting on you to join us here from the heart.